Hi, I'm Will with Jovial Concepts, and we're out here today in the Jovial Gardens program growing food for the local community. So we have about 37 gardens, and we grow a variety of vegetables using companion planting. So we have about 3 to 4 different types of gardens of different vegetables we grow together. We donate about 70% of that produce back to the community, the people who need it. 30% is reserved for the homeowners that have their lawns. So, you know, it's like just a thank you or a small community-supported agricultural program right in their own backyards. One of the most important things that you can do for the garden is to make sure you keep it well watered. If you want to follow me, I'm just going to show you some examples on proper watering and when you need to be watering and when your ground is good to go. So here is a good example of a bed that hasn't been paid attention to. You can see it looks like it's just bone dry, which it is. What you want to do to make sure, you know, it might look bone dry, it may or may not be. So what I can always do is come in here and you just push your finger in here, and when it acts like powder and you just want to brush the dirt off when you're done, you know that's it needs to be watered heavily here. This is a beautiful looking squash plant here. These are, I believe, a summer squash. And you come in and you'll see that the ground in here, how it was dry over there. It looks like it's dry on the surface in here, but if you actually do that finger test again and you push it in, it goes in nicely. See that? And if you look under here, it actually has a nice bit of moisture in there. This one could actually use another good watering, especially on a day like today here in Colorado. Now, one thing that's nice about the growing season is you got to really pay attention a lot more in the beginning, because you have all this bare exposed dirt everywhere for the sun to evaporate all that water off of there. But once you get nice big plants like this guy in here, it'll help shade out these patches of earth. They're all nice and moist under here because it's got that protection from the sun. This is a good example of a garden that was just watered. You see, if you look over here, all of it looks fairly black right now. You can tell the wood chips are still a little bit shiny, and then when you push it to the ground, it pushes in nicely. It's almost a little bit spongy because the water is still dispersing into the ground. But if you can look, it's all very nice and clumpy. So we got a couple of ways to water. People like sometimes you got the cool guns like this, you know, they can spray and do the showering. Those work pretty good. You got to make sure you go over multiple times because of the light showering. What I like to do is just get the hose straight up like it is and use my thumb, because I like to put a lot in the short area to make sure that you got it soaked. So this is a good example right here of what some homeowners do. They'll water real nice on the surface here like this. It looks like it's been watered, and it looks very nice. It looks like it's freshly watered. But if you actually come into here and you do the finger test again, you come in, you go underneath, you can see right under the surface, it's still all super dry. So that's why when we water, I like to put a whole bunch of it in here. I just I go little bit at a time instead of trying to do the whole piece at once to make sure we get these nice puddles in here. And usually by the time I'm done with one end, the puddle's mostly soak into another. The soil doesn't absorb as much if it's extremely dry. So I'll do this, let it soak in, and then I'll go over it one more time to make sure that I didn't get any dry spots. Let that soak for a few moments, because now if you come into here and make sure and see, when you come in and do your test now, if you look, you should have a lot more mud coming out the bottom. And that's what the plants like to see. So that's one of the issues. On a hot day like today, if you just water the surface, the sun is going to end up eating up all that water on its own. That's why the most important thing to us is to make sure you get that water deep down into the soil so the sun can't reach it, but the plants can all get it in those roots. That's the most important thing, is to make sure you get that water down deep. So those are just a few of the tips that I have that we teach the people in our program on how to make sure your garden stays healthy and flourishing. If you have any more questions or would like to know a different part about the gardening process, you can visit jovialconcepts.org. We'll have more how-to videos up there for you if you have any more questions, or if you want to come learn hands-on, we'll be here from 10 to 2 every Saturday. You'd be more than welcome.